Hey, what's happening, everybody? Robert Phoenix. I am here live broadcasting to you from Fredericksburg, Texas. Let me just get my OBS screen up there. Yeah, we're looking pretty good today. What's happening out there? Getting a little bit of a late start. Having a melatonin hangover. You ever have those? I think so. I think it's not uncommon to have the melatonin hangover. Let me just move a few things around. So what's going on? How is everybody today? There's Kelly Kells. There's Justice. What's happening? Paula, Isla, Fup, Raven Rain. Cool, cool, cool. Everybody's here. Well, at least, well, not everybody, but there's Jenny. Hi, Jenny. President accounted for. Yours truly. I am President accounted for. I am here. And we are here together. So another interesting day unfolding before our very eyes. There's more and more Sturm und Drang around what's happening in the Middle East. I'm going to talk about that. There was an earthquake that happened yesterday in Japan. Pretty big earthquake. 6.5, 6.6, probably 6.6. You know, I'd like to roll those numbers over to double sixes, 33s, those magical numbers. Yeah, big stuff in Japan. Of course, we have Uranus and Taurus. We can expect more of those. By the way, at the end of the month, we're going to have a meteor shower, the torrid meteor shower. It's going to come passing right through the path of the planet. I don't know if you've never seen a meteor shower in action. Hey, Mary. Hi, JMP. Right on. Nice to see you. If you've never seen a major meteor shower in action, I highly recommend it. They're pretty amazing. There's one that I experienced back in, what was that, 2001? 2001, 2000, this might have been 2002. 2002, 2002, 2001, 2001. And my God, it was really something else, man. Really something. So we got a big one coming up. Check it out. Hopefully it won't be a Day of the Triffids repeat. So before I get into the Iraq stuff, because it's Iraq now, I wanted to play this video of Angela Merkel. Some of you might have seen it. Some of you haven't seen it. It's really bizarre. It's totally bizarre. We're getting some buffering now. Okay. So let me. I hate the buffering stuff. Let me play the video. Here it is. Look at that. She is losing it, man. And this is in Ukraine, and the guy to her right is Ukraine's new president. Is she having some kind of an adrenochrome? Some kind of an adrenochrome withdrawal? Man, that's freaky. That's freaky. I think the leaders of the Western world who have sold us down the drain need to watch that video over and over and over again, because it feels to me like their systems are going to break down no matter what they've done in order to somehow capture the spark of the flame of immortality. It is not going to work or sustain them. It is against nature. It is against God. I'll play it again for you. Here we go. Look at that. Look at that. The dude with the camera in the background, he's like, I've got to get this. I don't think he's got a good enough angle to really capture what's going on with Merkel. But man, that is frightening. That's absolutely frightening. And if I was a member of the elite, I'd be a little concerned. I would be a little concerned. Things may not be going well for them on a bodily level as we move forward. Hey, Phoebe Kane, nice to see you. Looks like Isla has a birthday for her son. Tomorrow he'll be 11. And hey, there's Fifth Wall. What's going on? Fifth Wall. So there's a lot happening, obviously. One of the things that a couple things on the conspiracy front. Oh, it's zero cancer. Oh, cool. A couple things on the conspiracy front or on the conspiracy information front is that the book Nobody Died at Sandy Hook, which was published by Moonrock Books, and that's the Jim Fetzer book, that's been pulled. Moonrocks has pulled that book, and that's because Moonrocks has met with Lenny Posner. They believe that Lenny Posner is telling the truth about his kid. So, here's what's happening. The so-called truth movement or the alternative research movement, people that are digging and trying to uncover layers of reality, we are taking it on the chin. I'm just telling you right now. The tide has turned. And once they went after Alex Jones, and I talked about this, Alex Jones was the whale. And Alex Jones was ultimately a limited hang. And you cannot trust Alex Jones. You cannot trust anything that comes out of that man's mouth. Now he's parroting the party line about Iran being this devil, right? This devil that's going to start World War III with us, and they're doing all these nasty things over in the Gulf, and they were the ones that were responsible for the taking down of the two tankers. This is Alex Jones now. This is not Alex Jones questioning the government, Alex Jones. This is Alex Jones saying, do what we tell you to say, or say what we tell you to say, and maybe, just maybe, you'll stay out of court. Maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to keep, your money, whatever you've earned over this amount of time, right? So once they took him down, once they took the whale down, there was going to be a domino effect, and we're seeing the domino effect before our very eyes. From YouTube censorship to Facebook censorship to Google messing with their algorithms, we're watching the entire structure of the internet morph before our very eyes. Change. It's becoming a very different landscape. I was on a website last night, and they were talking about how they thought that that Facebook needed to be broken up in an antitrust suit, antitrust action. And I brought up the reasons why that would not be a good thing. And it was a really interesting article to some extent. What was more interesting about the article were the comments. And, of course, one of the great canards of people who are anti-free speech, because they think free speech is hateful speech. So one of the canards is, well, if you don't like it, go start your own platform. It's America, right? So, and I thought about this. I thought, well, let's play this out. So let's say, for instance, I decide I'm going to start a new platform. Let's call it Chatter, right? So I start Chatter, and Chatter becomes very successful, and people say whatever they want. It's infiltrated by trolls and trying to, drum up and stir up shit by the hateful garbage that would be spewed on there. But because I believe in free speech, we let it happen. It gets moderated, but it becomes this place where people can talk. However, we saw what happened with Gab, because Gab was running on Microsoft servers. A mistake. Microsoft denied them service. Gab eventually got back online. I don't know what they had to do in order to do that, but they didn't just ask nicely. I'm sure there were some concessions. Maybe they had to pay more. I don't know. I'm not even sure how Gab has an economic model at this point. But that's what happened. They were shut down by Microsoft. So let's say, for instance, Chatter does the same thing. It becomes popular. So I'm on Microsoft servers. I make the same mistake Gab did. It's like, well, I've got to start my own server farm. Okay, great. Because now I not only have the server farm, but I also have my platform. So it's like, okay, we've got an insulated environment. Well, people are on telcos and there are pipelines. What if a certain telco doesn't like you? What if a certain telco doesn't like your service or doesn't like what you're offering to people? Well, they can throttle you or they can deny service. They can do that. So let's say Spectrum or Cox Cable says, we don't know about this Chatter thing. We're not going to allow it. So now it's like, well, what do you do? Well, now you've got to go out and start a telco. Because if you want to have free speech, you should probably go out and start your own platform. So let's just say, for instance, you're so ambitious you start your own telco. It's not impossible. Down here in a little town south of me called Comfort, they've got their own internet service. It's possible. You can do it. Their own community internet service. So let's say you do that. Now you've got the internet service. Now you've got the servers. Now you've got your platform. Oh, now you've got it taken care of. Nobody can mess with you, right? Oh, no, that's not true. Because you've got to be able to transact. You've got to be able to pay people. And we've seen banks deny service to people who have views that the banks don't think are politically correct, right? Well, now what do? Now you're cut off. Banks can cut you off. PayPal can cut you off. All kinds of services can cut you off. Deny you service. Now you can't transact. Now what do? You start your own bank? Is that what happens next? Because you've got to be able to transact. Well, let's just say you're swimming in cash and you start your own bank. Well, other banks can deny to do business with you. So then you'd have to start your own network of banks. And then what happens? Well, then you could get smacked down by the Federal Reserve. So what are you going to do? Start your own federal... You see where this goes? You see where... Ultimately, that is a fallacy. That's a total canard. It's a total canard about starting your own thing, because any step of the way you can be shut down, right? You could be shut down. So Jasper says hello and good morning. You want to say hi to people? You want to give them your face? I don't think so. You don't want to give them your face, do you? Okay. They only get to see your beautiful face. That's okay. He's not. He wants to do whiskers. Jasper likes to do whiskers. It's just a canard, and so, but this, what's happened now, what's happened is this mob mentality has become emboldened, and it's not going to get any better. It's just not going to get any better. I feel like we need a decentralized platform for the internet. That's critical. That's really critical. If we don't have a decentralized platform, meaning that there is no centrality, there is no place where one thing is emanating from, and it's been talked about, it's being worked on, and the sooner the better, as far as I'm concerned. Otherwise, I just see us splitting into two internets, which is really kind of reflective of the two different worlds we're living in. So let's get into this attack that happened. This was yesterday. There we go. So this is from the Express. U.S. oil giant Exxon Mobil hit by rocket attack in Basra, Iraq, after U.S. military targeted. So this is kind of a big deal. I don't think this is related. I don't think this is related to the Iranian stuff. I'll read this to you. 3 people were wounded after a rocket hit the site of the residential and operations headquarters of several global major oil companies, including U.S. giant Exxon Mobil, near Iraq's southern city of Basra. That's where all the oil fields are. So they could pin this theoretically on Iran, but this to me is probably more like people in Iraq being totally fed up with everything. There is no immediate claim of responsibility, but the blast comes 2 separate attacks in many days on bases housing U.S. military personnel in Iraq as tension rose between the United States and Iran. So they're going to pin this on Iran, even if it was some kind of quote-unquote resistance inside of Iraq. They're going to pin this thing on Iran. The United States evacuated hundreds of diplomatic staff from its Baghdad embassy last month, citing unspecified interest from Iran against U.S. interests in neighboring Iraq or Tehran. So there we go. They're gonna pin this on Iran, and this could actually be another potential false flag. Potential. Other companies operating at the site include Royal Dutch Shell and Italy's Eni Spa. The oil official said Royal Dutch Shell said on Wednesday all staff in Iraq are accounted for, and its operations in the country are normal after a rocket struck the site of headquarters. Several foreign firms near Iraq's southern city of Basra. The Shell spokesman said we remain vigilant and continue to monitor the security situation and liaise with local authorities. The rocket was a short-range Katyusha missile, the Iraqi military said. Police said it landed 100 meters from part of the site used as a residence and operations center by Exxon. Burgesia is near the Zubair oil field operated by Eni. Iraqi officials have insisted the country's oil supply has been unaffected by the explosions. Washington has ramped up sanctions pressure on Iran in recent months and says it has sent additional forces to the region over tension with the Islam. We're creating a fucking tension. It makes me sick. Jasper's out of control today. Makes me sick. This whole call to war. Domestically produced these missiles intercept and hit with other missiles. Who's saying this? This is Iranian military Brigadier General Hossein Salami said in a televised speech yesterday, weapons at his country's disposal made it easier to carry out precision attacks. Geopolitical and security analyst Michael Horowitz tweeted the attack alongside other rocket attacks against bases hosting U.S. forces are likely tied to the ongoing tensions in Iraq. That's all you need to know. That is the plan, that is the goal, that is the strategy to keep peppering what's happening here. Apparently some guy died exposing the war plan. That happened just recently. Let me see if I can find the text here. This is, where is it? Here. This is from truthseeker.co.uk. This is the Alex Jones piece. Says the proof is in for anyone who had doubts about Alex Jones' integrity. He's a complete stooge for the deep state / New World Order. The evidence of Iranian involvement in recent tanker attacks is no more than unsubstantiated allegations from U.S. officials, yet Alex Jones is echoing the official U.S. position by claiming evidence for Iranian involvement is overwhelming. Iran has not admitted to bombing ships in the Gulf, as Jones claims below, nor has it vowed more terror attacks, as he asserts. These claims are completely without foundation, so he's really lying now. However, they do confirm that Jones is in the service of the powers that be. The elite won a U.S. military strike in Iran, and Jones is helping to pave the way for just such a strike by claiming that Iran was behind recent tanker attacks and is preparing for more. Before he was found dead recently, this is what I was talking about, in unexplained circumstances, David Goldberg had warned that hawks in the Trump administration were planning to strike Iran. Although initially reluctant, Trump had been won over by their arguments, and he is now still for the fall in the run-up to it. A media propaganda campaign will be launched to shore up support for military action among Trump's supporters. This is what Alex Jones is doing. He's targeting those who might have voted for Trump under the illusion that he was genuine and who are now growing skeptical about his promises to curtail U.S. military campaigns overseas. So now a supposed rebel against the U.S. establishment has been brought in to throw his weight behind Trump and bolster support for a strike on Iran. Alex Jones is in the service of Israel and in the service of Stratford. We know that. We've known that for a while now. So anyway, that's what's happening. We're going to hear more and more Iranian propaganda, and it's going to be interesting to see how people stomach this. I don't think it's going to go over well, and I have a sense that they're going to fuck up somewhere along the way. They're going to trip over their, as they say in the military, they're going to trip dicks. That's what's going to happen. However, stop them. There is slaughterhouse. So I think that we're probably going to be staring something like that down, and I would not be surprised if that coincides with the Saturn-Pluto conjunction. And I'm not surprised if I have doubts about it, but now I'm having less doubts. And it's really feeling like this is what they're training for. In which case, I would not be surprised if there's martial law and elections. That's quite possible. That is quite possible. That I think every theoretical war with Iran, everything is on the table. Everything. And that the eclipse, the big eclipse that's coming on the 26th, with the stellium and Capricorn, all in Trump's 5th house. Trump's got to be careful too, by the way, which is why I think he's playing ball. He's got Mars coming through his 12th house now. He's getting ready to start to ingress in there, and that's a major transit. Here in the chat. What do we have? So a lot going on with adrenochrome. There's a big adrenochrome discussion happening in Chatlandia. Yeah, adrenochrome is becoming a popular term. People are talking about it. People know about it. People are understanding the effects of the so-called fountain of youth. Okay, it's 9/11. Probably a good time for me to get on out of here. And before the stream, probably. So let me say goodbye for today, and keep your head up. It's okay. It's a marathon. Remember, this is a marathon, and the marathon is our race through eternity, right? And that's where we are. We're on a long journey through eternity together. So take a deep breath. Go out and get some sunshine. Stay cool. Try to stay dry, and keep it all together. This is Robert Phoenix. Use your head to discern what's real, your heart's it, what's possible. I'll be back tomorrow with another edition of 15 Minutes of Flame. As always, it's been a pleasure, and thank you for showing up and being present. Take good care.